That last no-scope kill and hit pause. It's time for the video game podcast where the Konami code is alive and well. The console wars don't exist. Rings are just as valuable as coins. Pots are not safe from swords. Giant robots kick ass. And fireballs are a perfectly acceptable weapon in a fist fight. That's right, it's time for the Super Gamer Bros Podcast Ultra Hyper Alpha Super EX Double Impact Plus A Live. Settle in and let's get to gaming.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Super Gamer Bros Live. We are here with you guys weekdays, having a good time. We've spent 2 weeks talking about some fun topics from Activision Blizzard to cloud gaming. And so this week we're going to have a little bit of fun talking about the console exclusivity issues.
I'm already angry and full of rage.
Of course you are, Cassandra. Of course you are. So I'm one of your fun gamers, Slayton. You can find me on Xbox pretty much 24/7. I'm not afraid to admit that. I haven't had the Xbox donut from Krispy Kreme yet because it'll probably make me sick, but I really do want to try one. Joining me back actually for more fun is Cynic.
Yes, hello. Oh, yes. Hello.
And
back to talk about video games.
Also with us is Cassandra.
Hi, I'm full of rage. White women rage.
And with his own theme music, El Guapo. I don't know where we're going with that, but yeah, whatever. So this week we decided we're going to look at the console exclusivity issues because as gaming has evolved, the idea of console exclusives have stuck around. And it has its good points to selling a console, but there's also many issues when the game is on multiple platforms with some content locked behind from certain consoles. It gets kind of messy. So this week we're going to discuss the idea of console exclusives in today's gamerverse and its future. And so for part one, we're going to talk about what do we think console exclusivity actually means. I mean, outside of the first-party games, what does it actually mean and what does it do to add to an experience when it's a third-party game? Because third-party games, I've never quite understood the idea of console exclusivity. Any part of it. Because it's meant to be on all, and it's not like you're charging any less. And I'm going to say Destiny is a prime example of this. Because when Destiny 1 was out, PlayStation had an exclusivity thing with them where they had content for a year. And it wasn't guaranteed to even get to the Xbox or anyplace else. And that caused a lot of problems. Because they're getting strikes, weapons, like actual game-changing experiences that we maybe would get a year later if we were lucky. And that was my first real taste of just how bad console exclusivity can be. So, what are your thoughts on console exclusivity, Cynic?
Well, I think it made sense back in the day when you had, say, someone like Nintendo or Sega would make a game with their studio with the intention of also making the console they manufacture. So just having the studio like mainly also selling the game as well as the console, I mean, that makes sense. But when it starts making less sense to me when actually games become less exclusive and you like, let's say if you have one game on one system, gotta buy it on all of them. Like that's what really bothers me. Console exclusivity doesn't bother me so much. I think sometimes that studios will take risks with their console exclusives that they might not take with games that could be on all platforms, just to make sure it's unique. Because some of my favorite games of all time land squarely in the console exclusive zone, and there's no secret as to why these companies put everything they had behind these games to make sure that its console and the rest of its game library survive. So
I get it when it's made by like Nintendo or Microsoft or something, but like I go back to Destiny. I think El Guapo has Destiny on PlayStation and Xbox because it's two different ecoverses, and soon that won't be. But what are your thoughts, El Guapo?
I don't think he's here. He's been on that post for like 3 sentences.
Yeah.
While we wait for that to happen, then I have to go check the feed real quick. He's kind of stuck in this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to add a hit
Why
pause
did
through
this
here.
happen to me?
Okay, so what about you, Cassandra?
I think it works for third parties. Like I'm going to use Persona as an example, because it could be on multiple systems. There's no problem. But Atlas recognizes that like the first party and the people who really love that franchise will most likely be a Sony fan, because Microsoft, as you point out, is a giant multiplayer system. Its big titles are multiplayer things. So if you're wanting to sell a single player experience, why would you sell it to Microsoft, also a Microsoft? It makes sense for it to be on PlayStation, and that's totally true. I agree with Cynic. Like, they designed those games with that system in mind, and it can pull the best hardware from those systems, not having to worry about, well, will this work with the chipset in an Xbox? Which Xbox? Are we talking about which Xbox? And then, or which PC, or which Switch? And I've seen that with some other games where they try to go multi, and it was clearly designed with one game system in mind, and then it went to others. Again, kind of going with Persona 5 Strikers has some serious lag issues, and so does Disgaea 6 have some serious lag issues on the Switch when it was designed for the PS5. And I think really it works well when the companies are designing it specifically for that console to get the most out of that console or its audience.
Yeah, see, I understand you need to launch games with the system. Those are already first party, and you said it earlier. They take more chances with these first party games. Like with the Xbox Series X, we had Medium, which was really interesting. We had some other fun ideas they had that are coming along down the line. Like I'm hearing Halo Infinite is just amazing, but it wasn't a launch thing. PlayStation 5 had the new Spider-Man and Ghost of Tsushima, and they were really amazing games. They really were made for those consoles, and I 100% understand that. But like, could you imagine if they made like Call of Duty? Well, I think they did for a while, didn't they? Where some stuff was exclusive to one system. Usually, it was an Xbox.
Yeah, Destiny did stuff like that, but it was mostly PlayStation.
Yeah, so I know. I think Call of Duty had one that were, even those were play it on this system first. Like, I don't understand those either. Just launch your fucking game.
Look what Square Enix was doing with flipping Marvel's The Avengers. They were going to make Spider-Man a PlayStation exclusive, which at that point, why would you play anything else? If you want to play Spider-Man, like everyone's going to see Spider-Man. Are you going to see Spider-Man if you're playing the PlayStation, the non-PlayStation version?
Nope.
No. Are you going to see it?
Like, yeah, there's a whole lot of things that start to come up, and that's one of the things. Like, you're missing aspects of gameplay, but you're paying the same price for these games.
I thought that Marvel Avengers, with that big, we're going to get a Spider-Man exclusive. I was like, every other system should be like $10 less than. If Sony's dishing out the cash to like make Spider-Man exclusive on that, fine. The Xbox and the PC version needs to be $10 less, because that's the price of Spider-Man.
They never do, and
no, it's free.
I understand you want to drive people to your console, but you drive it with the games you make that are strictly yours. Like, I don't know how the world's going to exist without Fallout on every system, or Skyrim on every system, whatever they come up with after this for Elder Scrolls. I happen to really love Elder Scrolls, so I'm happy it's on Xbox. And I'm not too much of a fan of Fallout, though.
I am a huge fan of Fallout. You do realize they've already addressed all this, right? With the Bethesda Microsoft deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically said it's going to have an timed exclusivity for like 6 months. The first 6 months is going to go to Microsoft, and then after that, it goes to everybody.
It'll go out everywhere.
I say that's fair when you own the companies, right?
Yeah, that's not third party saying it, but like, I really hope, and this is just me saying, that Bethesda Ghost Hunting Tokyo game that's on PlayStation is going to come to Xbox, because it was really just an exclusive over there. But I don't know if it was like a timed one, but I really want to play that game.
Yeah, so do
one that was actually made by one of the women who was the co-lead developer on Devil May
I
Cry
have no
5.
idea who made it. I just know the game is out there and it sounds fun.
No. I'm excited for it because the game looks fun. But actually, one of the women, the lead developer of it, is a young lady who was one of the big hands in Devil May Cry. The last Devil May Cry, was it 5?
5 was the last one, and it was good.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, how do you always know these most obscure fucking shit like this? Like, I don't understand. You're like, oh, it was done by then. You have like this whole history.
Because actually, that was a huge selling point, was that she was going from Devil May Cry to this game. This was her project.
I never once saw that
Y'all
selling
dedicated
point.
Y'all dedicated 4 episodes to this Blizzard thing. How would that bit of trivia not be known out there?
No.
You know what I mean?
I'm just hoping there's a butthole demon in it. That's all I'm hoping for. I will be set.
Gavin, if there's not an explosion and butthole demon, your brain shuts off.
I ain't gonna argue with that.
Yeah, there's no need to. Don't do it.
I'm wondering now, especially since crossplay is going to start becoming a big thing, if these third-party exclusives are just going to go straight out the window.
No,
I don't see how they could happen.
I mean, with Marvel's Avengers, and also I know Destiny had some complaints about having the exclusivity of content. I think console exclusive content for games that are for every system is so much more insulting than a console exclusive game, because you have to make these things exist, right? And there's only so many ways you can get funding to make a very unique project happen, because it just takes lots of resources. But then when you have it's like the DLC, the game's complete and you're just going to chop it up. Oh, hey, the game's complete. Let's chop up this other little thing, and it only goes to PlayStation players for a while. Then I was actually going to cite what Pocky said, but you beat me to it with regards to Spider-Man on PlayStation, because the new one being for PS5, Miles Morales, and then the Spider-Man game before that was incredibly good. I literally bought a PlayStation 5 knowing Spider-Man was going to come out and Street Fighter 5 was going to come out. So, I say stop.
Yeah, and that brings up the fact that that kills the idea of crossplay. Like, Destiny's about to launch crossplay with the next season, and they're very particular in how they're doing it, because you've got PC players and console players. So they've already designated PC will be in the PvE environments. You can team up with them, but the only way you can team with a PC player in any PvP match is if you join them and you willingly agree to go to the PC environment. PCs can't just join a PvE match. It will not happen. So there's things you got to consider in crossplay. Can you imagine saying, well, half the content's only here, so they have to make algorithms that say if there's someone in the Xbox party, well, you can't get into this activity or you get booted? Like, it's just dumb to think about that.
That actually happened with, was it Call of Duty or was it Battlefield, where they sealed a map and you could see it. But if someone joined your party and they didn't have the map, it would immediately kick your entire party.
I remember that.
Party.
You had to have the DLC content. If you didn't have it, it was causing a weird bug where it just kind of crashed everybody. That was just dumb. That was just
it wasn't
dumb,
a bug.
Dumb
it was
time.
done on purpose. That was a purpose thing.
Why would you do that on purpose?
It's called FOMO.
No, it's called angering the people who are in the middle of a match about to win, who get kicked out.
Well, FOMO. You make people afraid of missing out. Fear of missing out. That's what FOMO stands for. The industry is really light on that.
That's too much at the extent of the entire rest of the team that's already been playing. That's not FOMO. That's just bad project management.
Yeah, it sounds like a glitch, if anything, because otherwise it would say, "Hey, you can't join." Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
No. These matches, like, if you were in the lobby, if you were in it, you couldn't join it. What I'm saying is, if you were in a lobby, let's say you were in a lobby and everyone joined up, and like, hey, this new guy showed up. You go 5, 4.
3, 2, 1.
I just swallowed a bug.
Was it at least good?
Time to call the exterminator if you're just chilling in the house.
Like, did it just fly in your mouth? Did you see it just fly? Like, were you just talking and...
I saw this bug. I was like, okay, you're just gonna fly by, and it went. And I went.
Yep.
So you watched this bug?
I'm glad.
No, because I just saw it. Like I saw this, and I'm like, I'm not gonna swing it or anything because it's gonna look weird if I do this number. And I just, I do this. So I was like, okay, it's gonna fly by. It's gonna be fine. And I just watch it go beeline into my mouth, and I'm like.
I think,
anyway.
I think there might be a higher power telling you, don't talk about FOMA anymore. Boom. Like.
Yeah. So with that, we're gonna wrap up this episode because we're gonna continue tomorrow looking at the big three and how exclusives are gonna start working in the future, especially with Bethesda and stuff like that, because it's becoming a smaller market. So thank you guys for watching today. Make sure you're liking and subscribing and sharing wherever you're watching, and comment away. We want to hear what you guys have to say. If you have thoughts about this, if you're past episodes, you want us to talk about something, let us know. Biggest thing is just like and subscribe to these videos so you know that you won't miss them. We're here with you guys weeknights all this fall season 2021, and we're just having a good time with it. So we will see you guys tomorrow as we talk about the big three Monopoly. You're cutting off the top of your head, Shiley. You need to raise your camera just a little bit. He's like, no, fuck you!
That's all the fear.
I'll rig this up. That's because I broke the fucking clip thing that goes with.
It's gonna be all good, dude.
Where'd you go? You just lean back to your chair.
Alright, let's put it on the can of Lysol.
Hey, at least it'll be clean. All right.
Here we go. The Cosby room.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.